I'm just trying to find. I need unique viewers. Unique viewers. 1.7 million. 1.7 million unique views. How many people use this? Let's take a look at this one. Just trying to get an idea of what the population is there. So 500,000 downloads on Google Play. 113,000 views on Apple Store. Reviews on App Store. Of course, we don't know how many are positive or negative. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any of that. Come on, show me unique views. You see, what people don't understand is a lot of people, I would say probably maybe even 35% of the people or 40% of the people that follow you simply follow you to get the guffaws and to get information from you and to watch and listen to you rant. And that they're not people who are like, yeah, go get them, in your cheerleading section. But think about this. Again, we're looking at numbers here. I just want people to understand the numbers. A friend of mine, he's like way down a right-wing rabbit hole, believing all kinds of outlandish stuff. And I try to tell him, look, I'm not going to argue with you about it, but I can show you facts, and then you go and see if it's true or not. I just looked at your facts, and your facts are not true. Now you have to go look at my facts. That's all. Just go look. And if you don't look, well, then maybe you shouldn't feel really good when you want to have the discussion with me again about numbers. Maybe you won't feel so cocky in your attitude if you know you didn't go look. See? It works. 1.7 and 90 million followers for the president. So that goes to show you the difference. Truth Social, 1.7 unique, but he has 90 million followers. So there's 90 million followers that use Twitter. But only 1.7 million people actually use the service. Incredibly low numbers. Have heard of, have not heard of. Yeah, see the numbers, it's the numbers. 2 million people, that is how many people use Truth Social every day. So the number I saw was 1.7 million. This one says 2 million. So we'll bite the difference. They're in really very serious legal trouble right now from so many different directions. I actually hoped that it would succeed. He's got 90 million followers. Like I said, not all of those people are there because they believe in what he stands for or what he's, who he is. They're not there for a positive reason, maybe not a negative reason, but they're not there as a follower. They're there as an information gathering, like when I watch Fox News. I follow what Trump says. I wouldn't download Truth Social and give him my information, but I definitely try to see who it is that is promoting anger and hatred and divisiveness between people. The religious zealots. So, it's like, I can't tell you how many Christians don't know that. What a religious zealot is, and when Jesus Christ mentions it in the Bible and what he says. I just want to, I like to know why is it so important for them to hate and separate and divide and, you know, their whole, they want you to be just like them. And if you're not like them, then you're a bad person. You don't deserve any rights. You don't, and this is the problem. When you look at the actual numbers, are you telling me that he's got 90 million Twitter viewers, but only 2 million people use Truth Social? Does the difference in those two numbers not go gong? Right? No, I just saw a thing on Truth Social. There's so many legal problems. Everything Donald Trump ever touched turned to shit, and then he screwed all of his partners in the process. And the partners that he didn't screw, he screwed the cities that they lived in. Absolutely terrible. I need to, I would like to know, what is it about this guy that flips your switch? I really want to know. I'm not saying that you're a bad person because you believe what Donald Trump believes, because you're not Donald Trump. Even if you believe what Donald Trump's policies, okay, I know that the majority of people that believe in Donald Trump's policies don't believe in rape and lying and cheating and stealing and corruption and, you know what I mean? Twice impeached, then found guilty of, sexual misconduct with a person. You wouldn't hire him for your company if his name wasn't Donald Trump. And so I need to know, what is it in his policies? Because when I look at his policies, I'm fucking terrified. If you're a hunter and a fisherman, if you like to hunt and you like to fish, like moi and all of my family, okay? My nephew's paralyzed on one side of his body. He hunts with a bow, holding it with his mouth. My family has always been into hunting and fishing. And then when I see that you're letting corporations dump more poison into freshwater systems with less regulation, that is not a policy I agree with. Oh, well, it creates jobs and it stimulates this and stimulates that. Yeah, stimulates the fucking stock price and the bonuses that these guys get every year. That's what it stimulates. It doesn't do anything for my great grandkids who I might want to go fish that waterway. And it's been turned to a poisonous piece of shit, like so many waterways in the U.S. right now, where they're telling you don't eat the fish. Even in the Bay Area, if you go pick up a fish and game guide for the San Francisco Bay Area, and you look at what the Fish and Game Department says about striped bass in the Bay, is that for grown men to not consume more than, I think it was like 3 ounces a week, and for pregnant women and children to not eat any at all. And it has been that way for the last 30 years. Don't eat any at all. That's the San Francisco Bay. All the way to Alcatraz until you start at least getting some saltwater intrusion. The rest of it is all very brackish. I grew up on that waterway. I don't believe in that. Those companies pump that shit in. You can smell it. The bay will literally reek some nights when you're out fishing. Because regulations are cut. What else did he do financially? He brought in more debt than any other president in the last 30 years. He gives tax breaks to people that don't need fucking tax breaks. They didn't create the jobs. The billionaire, we already know that trickle down is bullshit. That's a steaming pile of shit. That is not real. Trickle down doesn't trickle down. They buy back their fucking stocks. They pay themselves bigger bonuses. That doesn't trickle down to shit. Otherwise, wage stagnation wouldn't have been something hypercritical on our society for the last 30 years. Okay? Wage stagnation. So no, I don't agree with any of his policies. Everything that he did, pretty much, I disagreed with. And his ass kissing, fuck. I thought we have presidential knee pads? Because that guy was on his knees for every goddamn tyrant on the planet. He couldn't wait to use the presidential knee pads. I was shocked. And then what does he do? He walks into a room of world leaders and is pushing people out of the way so he can barge to the front. And everybody's looking at him like, God, what a fucking buffoon. And everybody's world leaders are laughing at him. And my buddy's like, thinks he's just the greatest thing since fucking sliced cheese. And I just can't understand it. And this whole, I don't follow that, but this whole Hunter Biden thing. Because as soon as I saw who was involved with it, I went, oh, well, that's fucking tainted, and I don't care about it. And here we are years later, and he's on this whole Biden thing. And I went, okay, so from my understanding is that all of their secret witnesses are too secret to be found. You're talking about investigations that have gone on for years that we're paying for. And you see, what's his Comer? That is just so a person can have a job. They don't want to be, if you end the investigation, where's your fucking career going when it comes out zip? What are you going to get when it comes out zip? Nothing. You get nothing when it comes out zip. And now you look like a dumbass. So he's trying to get as much political pull out of this as he can right now, get his face in front of as many people as he can right now, try to get his 15 minutes of fame. The trouble is my understanding is that all of their witnesses are too secret to be found. Shocking. Listen, if you got the fucking goods, you should have done it a year ago. It shouldn't take you 2 years. And then you're still fucking backtracking on we're going to do this and we're going to do that. You know what? I wouldn't hire you for my company either. You're the kind of guy that sits on a bar stool and tells everybody that the next fucking Fortune 500 company is going to start next week. That's who this guy reminds me of. It's just fucking shameful. What is this slandering of the current president and then worshiping of an ex-president? People don't run around worshiping Obama, even though everybody really liked the guy. We don't have, marches in cities praising Obama. It's weird. I don't get the hold this guy has on people and how he does it. Look at the numbers and you will feel better though. Because that's what I told my buddy. Look, man. So I'm going to find out how many people are on Truth Social. Because I told him, I said, when Fox News has an amazing night, when Trump's going to be on there, an amazing night, the best they can ever have, they're going to get 3.5 million people. I said, there's 300 million people, 350 million people in the United States. I said, think about that. That is 1/100th of the population. 1/100th. Think about it. If there's 100 people in the room, you're down here all fucking by yourself. Believing all this insane shit that the election was still stolen is coming out of this man's mouth. And he knows, everyone knows it's bullshit, but he's not talking to me. He's talking to my friend. I care about this guy a lot. And so it's important for me to be able to understand why people feel the way they do. Everyone's like, he's a great businessman. No, that's not true. Well, he's a great man. No, that's not true. He's a horrible human being. He has fucked over so many people, okay? I mean, you talk about the guy that kicks the dog and robs grandma of her false teeth. That's the Trump organization. Those people have been found, they can't run a charity. You can literally sit down for hours and talking about the shit that they've been caught doing, not just the stuff they did and got away with, because Donald Trump is the master of pulling out these long, prolonged, keep you in court and fight you for everything. I don't know. I think it's like a cult. That's what I think, that there is a small percentage, probably the 2 million people that actually use Parler, okay? If you're a Trump fan and you have a phone, not the 90 million people that follow Trump on Twitter with phones, just the 2 million people that are on Parler. So the difference in that number is there's something that the answer that I'm looking for is in the discrepancy between those two numbers. That's where it lies. I tend to think, like all the psychologists that came out when Donald Trump became president, and everyone was like, this guy's fucking dangerous. You know what I mean? He's a pathological liar. They warned everybody and said what he was. And then all of a sudden, that's gone. Never hear about it. COVID, his own advisors said that a minimum of 400,000 people would not have died if Donald Trump hadn't done what he did. And you don't hear about it at all. You know, to tell you the truth, I could give a fuck about documents or anything else that he's done, really. The families, right? People that are going to be missed because people believe the guy. And he just fucked our system. He made just a gigantic goddamn mess of it and then tried to take credit when it started to die down. Well, he didn't take credit for the 400,000 people that died because of his policies. So environment, medical, financial, I think that covers it all. I'm just trying to figure out why that discrepancy, because that's where the answer lies, of why these people follow this man.